COSM meeting that upside that we were looking for and confirming that bullish engulfing that we were looking on the daily, right? So now let's go ahead and see what the potentials are for the coming days. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again. This is ARCa coming at you with the COSM technicals, raw price action, and statistical thread of analysis on this Taco Tuesday. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community and Discord called ARCa Bulls. With that said, let's go ahead and dive right into the charts. All right, so yes, we are looking at COSM on the daily chart here, and please remember that we did speak about this pretty massive bullish engulfing here on the daily iteration, of which has essentially realized an upside. Now, it is important that we would face this resistance zone, right? This was already a support that we were looking at from before. It has served several times as a support. It has served several times as resistance as well, right? So, and now we are actually getting that break above it. So we're well within the zone and now closing this daily candle within it. Okay, so this is actually a good sign. All right, so now let's go ahead. Yeah, so from today's price action, it looks like we went all the way up to about that 349 level at the high. All right, so let's move on to the next chart and see what we have for COSM. Okay, so this is in reference to the 5-day volatility versus momentum backtest. And this is a backtest that has several iterations that have been guessed correctly to the upside. Okay, so I'm speaking of about 6 total iterations, of which 6 have been guessed correctly to the upside, giving this, it's not going to last forever like this, you guys, just to be honest, okay? But it has a 100% accuracy, and the upside thrust following the conditions has led to a move that's about 162.05% over the span of about a bunch of days that I don't care to mention right now, right? But as we can see here, that condition or that criteria in order for us to meet that upside move is this. So anytime that volatility has expanded to critical volatility or the critical volatility zone, which could be within the 90 percentile, and started a contraction phase towards the downside paired with stochastics making an upside move, we have actually taken that back test throughout the entire trading history of the 5-day time frame. And of course, we've gotten these results. So that's essentially the context. Okay, so that signal, I mean, the 5-day stochastic momentum, this is pretty important because now we're starting to see that the slower moving average, 14-period simple moving average, is now starting to curve. And that is in respects to the shorter time frame, 3-day exponential moving average facing the upside or favoring that upside. Okay, so this is very likely the reason why we're starting to get this pivot here from the 14, as we do have an essential firing of the signal. Okay, so what I would really like to see here, to be perfectly honest, so just like this here, please notice how we had a downside. It started curving upon the upside of the EMA 3, and then that 14 period actually started making that upside. Okay, so just like that, we want to influence the longer term time frame. Okay, so the signal is pretty much, I would say, about 80% fired, and it is already suggesting a pretty good upside. Another indication that there is volume coming in is not only the fact that, you know, today we printed a one. Let's see. Well, that's let me look at the daily print. Let me see what we have. 200 and yeah, we have significantly less volume today with an upside thrust, which is very curious. All right, so this is it's very interesting that we are still making that upside move despite the lower hidden volume. But I would like for you to notice that volatility is actually now crossing above the moving average, which is indicative of a continuation of whatever volume is coming in or trend that is currently sitting, right? So when we are getting this expansion phase to restart from a contraction phase, that is indicative of a move to continue, okay, a continuation signal. And the signal just so happens to be bull control. So if we're looking at here, the DMI, please notice that the bulls are definitely still in control, and absolutely the ADX is giving it market trend. So this is right now trending markets for the bulls at 33%. Anytime the ADX is at 25% or above, that is trending markets to the particular side that it's favoring. Okay, so in this case, green above means bulls, and 33% ADX means trending market for the bulls. Okay, you guys, so very good very good price action happening right now. And if we were to, to meet that upside target of 162.05%, remember that these are just remember that this is just a statistical backtest. It is an average, okay? So meaning that any time that this condition has met, on average, we have faced this type of data, right? So if we were to expect a full 162% move to the upside, then that would put us at around $8.12. Okay, you guys. So I mean, and honestly, looking at the 5-day backtest here, we still have about a day and 20 hours to complete this 5-day iteration, of which upon the closure of this, which would be, let's see, today we're on Tuesday, so this would be about Thursday closure, and then Friday we would actually see what happened here to the volatility versus momentum officially, right? So upon that closure of this candle iteration, then everything else would be reactive to that closure, right? So if we do continue this upside as the data is suggesting, then very likely this move would actually officially fire and actually get us to start making a pretty exponential move here for COSM. All right, you guys. So now another thing to keep in mind here is that we have ran a volatility versus momentum backtest on the 8-hour chart as well. Okay, so in this particular backtest, yes, of course, it's still throughout the entire trading history of the asset. These are all my samples here, and there have been 9 iterations, of which 6 were guessed correctly, from critical contraction to expansion paired with volatility to the upside. Okay, so the move has essentially fired here, and there actually is a little bit of change here, as volatility is actually entering the critical volatility zone yet again. So if there is a critical contraction here while we're facing to the upside, even still, there could be an even more powerful move to the upside than what we thought, because having back-to-back iterations with upside pivots of the stochastics, that could be indicative of a pretty exponential move to the upside, of which then would maybe have us consider closing that 206% move to the upside. On the 8-hour chart, that 206% move to the upside leads to about $9.37. Okay, so please remember, again, these are just statistics. They are not certainties. It's just, again, upon this criteria here being met, on average, we have this data here. Okay, you guys. So yes, there is still an upside pivot here, barely showing a little bit of weakness here on the 3-day exponential moving average, but very much with a convincing and significant upside pivot even still. Okay, so now let's go ahead and move on to the next chart, and this is the reversion variant algo that I actually built, right? So we still have I'm sorry, we did actually revert to that mean, right? So right at that 339 level, I'm not sure exactly where it was yesterday, but it could have been just a little bit higher, maybe around 342, right? But we absolutely got that mean touch. We're still testing right now that the reversion to the mean, right? We're still testing it as a resistance. And of course, we had a massive resistance here that we needed to kind of keep in touch with, right? Or keep an eye on, right? So yes, it is the candle, this 8-hour candle closure from today, not returning anything from which is already taken from the shorts, and it's still suggesting a continuation to the upside. Okay, so now let's go ahead and move on to the last part of the analysis, which is going to be our RSI. Please notice here that the 30-minute RSI crossing above that 14-day simple, entering that gravitational zone, very likely for us to consider and continue to the upside. And 4-hour time frame also with an upside pivot here. We definitely have that 14-day simple within starting that upside pivot as well. Okay, very likely going to continue to the upside here. The 8-hour time frame, same situation. In fact, we are definitely very deep into the gravitational zone of the bear weakness percentile, very likely to get pulled into the following zone. 14-day simple moving average with an upside pivot as well. Notice here on the daily time frame that we absolutely have a bullish cross from that upside of that 14-day simple moving average with an upside pivot on both the signal and the moving average. Very important and very bullish to realize something like that. Okay, so now take a look at the bi-daily RSI officially making that cross upside of the 14-day simple moving average. Absolutely bullish. Okay, you guys, this is definitely looking bullish. Almost actually every single time frame is suggesting an upside. Very likely COSM can face a continuation to the upside tomorrow. 5-day RSI making a very important cross above that 14-day simple moving average, and now it is getting very close to that gravitational zone of the bear strength percentile. Okay, this is very likely going to start pulling us to the upside. Okay, so as long as the shorter time frames do continue that upside pivot, the larger time frames will be reactive to that. Okay, in this particular situation. All right, you guys. So definitely keep an eye out for let's see. Tomorrow we can actually face a resistance. The obvious target would be around 345, but the resistance touch that we're looking for still is around 347. But seeing that the 5-day and the 8-hour are still suggesting upsides here, guys, it wouldn't at all surprise me if this thing actually made a jump to the space of about 370 to around 375. Okay, you guys, so as COSM definitely has that ability. Okay, you guys, so please remember that I still have a few seats left over on the ARC Masters Trading course that I am offering, and this is the last that I will be offering any courses for a very long while, as I need to concentrate on trading. And I think these 2 courses is a pretty good gesture, right, for the community. But remember that this is my last one to offer. There's still a few seats left from the 30 seats, and you can find a Gmail in the description below and get enrolled. Okay, you guys, so definitely remember that I'm not a financial advisor. Take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy or sell any assets whatsoever. Okay, I need you to do your own due diligence and everything will be good. All right, you guys, but with that said, I wish you well. I wish you a very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.